Hello, welcome back. We are now working on signature number 4. It fits on the back side of page 2 in your album. Now, there's something I need to explain to you about this page. I'll do that here in 2 shakes. It will be the last page. So, what I have left, if you have followed along with all of my cuts and my trims and the papers I've used, these were the two 12 by 12s that I have left over. I needed a 12 and by 3-inch strip off of this sheet. So I had trimmed this down to fit here on the back. So you might want to go ahead and do that now because, like I said, you're going to need a 3-inch by 12 strip here across the bottom. And then we'll come back and finish that in the next video. But this is what I have set up so far for this page. I had a lot of really long strips that were about 3 inches wide from all the cuttings because I'm using 12 by 12 sheets of paper. Also, because I'm using 12 by 12 sheets of cardstock, I had a lot of long strips left of that. So to help use up a great portion of that, we're going to do a double waterfall on this page. So first off, this base page, which is the one I chose to use, it being beige because I want the color here to stand out, measures 8 1/4 in height, and it's going to measure 9 1/4 in its length. So the height is going to remain the same. It's the width that I'm going to go over when we get to the cardstock. This is going to fit 2 rows of waterfalls. You're going to want to cut 6 pieces, 12 pieces, because it's 6 per section. You want to cut them at 5.5 inches, and then you're going to score at 1/2 inch, and you're going to cut them by 3 inches. So you need 12 of those. Then going through all the scraps, I picked, this was a long 12 by 12 piece. I centered it as best I could, cut it to fit so that it would come in right here. So you'll want to do the same thing. Now, out of the remaining scraps, I chose this image, doing the same thing. I kind of centered it the best that I could, and then I cut it to fit. The rest of the images, I just simply cut what I needed, which was 2 7/8 wide by 4 7/8 in length. That would fit each one of these waterfall pieces. I've taped all the backs. I've inked all my edges. Once I got this done, I went back through my scraps because I still had quite a few, and I think this one's too tall. I'll have to cut and trim that again. I've cut 12 more pieces out of the remaining pieces to fit on the back side of each of the waterfalls. From the scraps, I also identified a piece of paper that looks like this. I cut it to 2 7/8 in length, and then I cut 12 pieces that are 3/8 in width. These are going to cover this part of your what I'm talking about here. I just totally lost my words. But you'd want 12 of these, and I've inked all of my edges so that when I get to that part, I can just quickly glue them on. What I would like to do right now is give you the measurements for your side panel flaps. Your right side is going to measure in at 5 1/8. You're going to score it at 1/2, and you're going to score it at 3/4. That is your right side panel. We'll get to the papers that this covers here in a second. Your left side panel is going to measure at 7 1/4. You're going to score it at 1/2, and you're going to score it at 3/4. And we'll get to the papers that I used to cover these here in a few minutes. Let me kind of take a sneak peek there. I'm going to go ahead and start positioning everything so I can get the waterfall together. And I kind of do a quirky little thing, so if you will bear with me. I'm very visual, so I am going to stack these, butt these up, because I want to know. I should have done this before I started the video so that you're not watching me do this. It's just a quirky thing that I do. So I put all these, line these all up, all 6 of them, and then I want to balance them here. I want to try and see the same amount here on both sides. I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to come in and draw a line so that I can get that in there. Now, assuming that that is my, now I'm going to work my height. I'm pretty good actually. So I'm going to come in here and draw that pencil line. I'll make sure that it's even here in a minute, and I'm going to draw a pencil line here. Once I get these in, you're not going to see them. What I want to do now is make sure that I am on the same ruler mark for these. This one's off a bit, and that one was dead on. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna turn these this way. And now I want to make sure I'm sitting here at about 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch. Okay. And if you've not made a waterfall before, you just kind of butt it right up next to this gusset. And then I'm going to lay these down to make sure that they're fairly even, and if they're not, I'm going to make an adjustment right now. Let me see if that's going to work. Okay. This is the tedious part of doing this. Okay. And I'm sure a lot of you are very crafty and have made a bunch of waterfalls, and you probably have a better method than I do, so don't pay any attention to me. Just do your own thing. Okay, I'm pretty pleased with how those laid out. Now I'm going to set in the next set. should be about 3/4. So yeah, look at that, 3/4 of an inch. Before I go much farther, I need to double check. Yeah, I'm pretty good, pretty lined up there. All right. Now I'm just going to kind of give these fold going this way, encourage them to lay down flat. All right, so I had set this up, and when I picked the papers I want to show here, I tried to use the same ones so that there was a pattern going across here. I am going to just start to quickly glue these in place. I may have to fix some of the measurements for the ones on the underside, it looks like, but I will get there in a little bit. These are going to be close call measurements. Now I'm going to put the top on this one. Oh, might help if you put it the right side up. Okay, and then the next one. I'm going to turn that upside down. If for some reason you chose to reduce the size and make I have to trim this, so this is that's too much. That is just too much. Anyway, what I was gonna say is if you chose to reduce the size and do an 8x8 album, I do not know what your leftover scrap situation is going to be. So maybe you won't be able to do a double waterfall without getting additional paper. Like I said, I don't know how it will turn out with a 8x8 pad. But I get asked quite often, can I do this in an 8x8? And all my albums you can do in an 8x8. You just have to make allowances for the adjustments in size. I am going to quickly put these in, simply because for the sake of time on the video, if it's getting too long, I may just do the back side off camera here. You know, I need to cut for that. I don't think I have enough. I did cut enough, at least on this one, but I'm questioning myself on the next set, so we'll see. Now, as you can tell underneath here, you've got room to put a photo or do some personal journaling. Maybe tell some stories about the photos, dates, times, people. I made the terrible mistake of not getting information from my mom before she passed on who certain people were in the photos, and all my extended family have passed, so I can't even reach out to anyone there. So I think it's important to spend time, get that info, get it documented. These become beautiful keepsakes passed down for generations. Tell their story. You don't realize how important that information is until they're gone. Okay, so those are done and in place. And like I said, I'll come back to this if I think the video's gone too long. I'll come back to it later. So let's go ahead and let's get our side panels on. Now, I'm going to be coming right up to this 1/2-inch score line that's here. The reason we're playing with a 1/4-inch gusset on these is because of this buildup. You're going to have photos that are going to come in here and add additional height. I normally do this upside down, so I'm trying to do it right side up. Okay, so we got that one in. So you can see how the gusset stands up to the top instead of it being more to the back. I want it to the front. Okay, so I'm going to do the same here. Right in front of that gusset score. And then these stand up nice and tall. Now, before I go any further, it is necessary at this point to get our magnets in. And this is what's going to keep the waterfalls. Am I going to have enough room here for the paper? No, I need to move it this way a little bit. To keep the waterfalls down is, usually I use like a little belly band of some sort. Now I'll make sure that my lines match up here. My gussets stay straight. And then I'll commit this magnet. All right. So on the front, the piece I used here on the front was this piece. And I trimmed it. You can see the bottom of the one extra, it looks like 3x3s. I cut that off across the bottom. There was a bicycle down here. I was focusing more on the window, so it will fit here as such as that. Whoops, well, that was really silly. That tape didn't hold. Oh, I've got to see how it went off just right there. Okay, let's line this back up. Slide and take off. It prevents that from happening, the tape separating. So then this piece will come in here. My intent was, if you were looking through the window, what would you see? And I was focusing here on this beautiful lamp. And then if you're in the window looking out, you might see this garden cart. So that's what my intent was here. Now for the inside, because like I said, we're getting down to where we don't have many papers left. This was the piece, the 12x12 piece I used. So I cut one to fit here and one to fit over here. Now if you cut these, if you haven't done this yet, if you cut these right, then you'll have the patterns going in the right direction. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one glued in. And just carefully lay it in here. And then in the little fussy cut pieces, I'm almost out. I think I've used quite well almost everything that there is. So I cut this out, I mounted it on 100-pound cardstock, and I'm just going to make a tuck down here on the bottom. This piece having a magnet, I am going to tape it on. This lined up in here. And then I'm going to tape this side as well because there is a magnet. Probably would have taped it anyway, just simply because the glue would dry before I got all the way around. And then one of the very last pieces I have is I fussy cut this lantern out, and I put some tape here on the bottom, and I'm going to make a tuck here on this side. Such a pretty piece. All right, now close that, and now I'm going to tape this due to its size. Come on. Don't be a pill. It's on crooked, but who cares? Okay, make sure it's right side up. I apologize, my dog is out here having a conversation with something or someone. So I hope she doesn't get too carried away. Okay, now I'm gonna quickly try and cover these, but like I said, I might have to do some cutting because I feel like some of these are a bit too tall. That one. They're not. Those I need to re-ink. And I think these are okay. There's just a couple of them. Okay, backside. And these on the backside, because you don't really see them, I'm not particular about the order in which they go down. Bear with me, I'll be right back. 2 minutes. Or a minute. Just a minute. Ethel, come here. Ethel. Ethel. I apologize. I was trying to get my dog to come in because she's just having herself a tizzy out here, and I don't like those kind of interruptions. I already inked the other side. that one's done. Let me take a look at the size. I have a couple here that I need to remeasure. That one's okay. That one's okay. I see, not see. That one I need to re-ink. And this one I need to re-ink. These make such pretty backgrounds when you put photos on them. Might help if you put them right side up before you do. That didn't take too awfully long, and at least it's done. All right, so there's my double waterfalls, my tucks, the pages. We've got this done, this done. Now all we need to do is put the tape on the back so that we can get it mounted in our album. I kind of want to show you something that's happening here. You see how this gusset's flattening out? That's because all the weight is here. So when I go to put this in, I'm going to need to make sure that this gusset is sitting up straight so that this is nice and firm when it goes in. Now, because I've got some weight on this and the weight is going this way, I'm going to take my strips and go with the length of the waterfalls. Okay. Time to put it in. And I am going to put it this way. So that I can make sure that I'm getting it in even. All right, so I'm taking this gusset and I'm going to bring it right up to the edge. Perfect. Now we'll get the rest of it off. And I'm going to commit this end first because it's really soft and that it's bending over quite easily, and I don't want it to do that. Stand it up straight and then commit it. And then I want to be careful that this one here on the inside does the same thing, that it is standing up straight when I commit the tape down. So I only have one piece to dig in here and get out. I wish I had the courage to take all the tape off in one piece, but I've just had too many mishaps, just me personally. Where I've gotten it almost committed and then had to use a bunch of undo to get it off because I didn't set it right. Okay, so there is your double waterfall using up a bunch of scraps. Last of the pages, and I will then see you when we come back to do the final signature. Have a good day.